Jesse James, Jesse James. He was cursed with a quick and reckless gun, Jesse James, and he played a game that no man ever won. Jesse James, but his killing turned him cold. He grew bitter, he grew bold, and he fought the world with a gold of hungry gun.
Hi, this is Gene Stevens from the Central States Lawmen and Outlaws Historic Association, and I'm out here in Winston, Missouri today taking a look at a Jesse James site, and this is the train station of the Rock Island Railroad, which was involved with the Jesse James robbery here in Winston. So the train robbery in Winston happened on July 15th, 1881, and stands out as it's one of the most violent, infamous crimes attributed to Jesse James. It was one of the gang's final major heists before Jesse's assassination in St. Joe, Missouri. This robbery actually intensified the hunt for Jesse because of what occurred here in 1881. By 1881, both Jesse and his older brother Frank James had been operating as outlaws in this area for over a decade and robbing banks and stagecoaches across the country. Where this robbery is concerned, the key motive appeared to be, from research that I did from various sources, is a personal vengeance, because in 1875 the Pinkerton National Detective agents rode this train, and they had raided the James Farm in Clay County in Missouri, and they used a bomb to kill Jesse's half brother and maimed his mother pretty badly. And Jesse mistakenly believed that the train conductor, William Westfall, had been involved in transporting those agents to Kearney to do that. As Westfall had worked on similar routes, the grudge was fueled the brutality of this particular attack. The robbery unfolded at the small train depot here in Winston, which is right behind me. Then tiny Daviess County community. I'm about 50 miles north of Kansas City, just to mention that. At around 7 p.m., an eastbound passenger train carrying about 30 passengers and crew and an express car pulled out of the station, and 5 masked outlaws, including Jesse, Frank, Wood Hite, Clarence Hite, and Dick Liddil, boarded the rear of the passenger car. And apparently Jesse was unmasked, and he was acting very boldly during the robbery. He immediately shot Westfall in the back without warning as the conductor collected tickets, and Westfall, who had his back turned, died almost instantly, and apparently fell from the train near a section house just east of the depot. Eyewitness accounts describe Jesse declaring his identity to stun passengers who were terrorized. The escalation ensued, and some chaos was created as the robbers demanded valuables, and Frank James shot and killed a passenger, John McCullough, a 35-year-old farmer from nearby Cobb who was traveling with his family. McCullough's death was likely accidental in a crossfire, but it underscored the gang's recklessness, according to the information that I have. They then went into an express car, and the outlaws forced their way into an express car and pistol whipped the messenger, J.L. Penn. He was unconscious when he was knocked unconscious when he resisted. They cracked open the safe, but they only found about $900 in cash. So there was a lot of confusion here. But this particular robbery put the final nails in the coffin, because the Winston robbery was a robbery which motivated the Governor Crittenden of Missouri to put out a proclamation to capture Jesse James at any cost. So this was a very, very bad time, and this was downhill. Of course, this is okay. So I'm going to take you for a tour around the property and kind of show you what I can see inside. It's too bad I couldn't get access to this to take a look around, though. There are some Jesse James related items in there, like a couple of photographs. I'll take you to the window and see if I can get this on camera so you can see. Jesse James' picture is actually inside the building and hanging on the wall here. Hopefully we can get a decent shot of it. I apologize for the horrible camera work here, because I'm obviously trying to see it through. There it is. And there is the gorilla photo. Appears to be a drawing of the gorilla photo. Also, you probably can't see it too well here. Let me take the camera off my stand here and see if I can get a better picture through the window. And I would say, yes, that is That is much better. Again, I apologize for the horrible camera work. I just wanted to give you a look inside. I don't know what this is. This is a drawing of Jesse James, was made specifically for the Winston Historical Society, as it is an original and the only one like it in existence. So this picture is the only one in existence that was done of him, the drawing. And again, over here on the opposite wall is the a drawing of the guerrilla photo. And I'm just going to take you for a tour around the outside of the building, and that is Route 69 out there to give us some perspective on where we're located. So this is the outside of the Winston train depot. If you could kind of put yourselves in the shoes of the Outlaws when they arrived here and what it might have looked like. And Winston is still a very tiny community, somewhat frozen in time, but western Missouri is kind of like that. It's kind of like southern Iowa, and I come from up north in Iowa, and there's a lot of communities that are like that too, kind of frozen. This was obviously a railroad town at one time, and like many railroad towns, quieted down and didn't grow after the railroad shut down. Let me see if I can get a picture of this for you on the inside. I'll get it close to the glass so you can see. Looks like there's some literature in there, small museum. And just continuing the tour around. And here is the front facing 69. So I'm giving you a virtual tour here of the Jesse James site here in Winston, Missouri. And here we are directly across from that photo. In fact, I have a good shot of it here. Let me zoom in so you can see that straight on. And over there in the corner is another photo. Wish I could get in there and see it better. I can't really tell. I'm assuming that might be a photo of Zerelda. And here you have the Rock Island logo. I don't know if I can catch anything more from this perspective. I don't believe I can. But no, I think that's about the best it's going to get. These windows are caged here. There are bars on the windows. And there's the old railroad signal on the building. Okay, well, thanks for joining me on this another adventure into the Wild West from Jesse James. I've been almost immersed in Jesse James culture for the last couple of years now. In fact, I was just down at the James farm in Kearney, and I gave a talk there about the Adair train robbery. So it was great to go down there and meet everybody, and I actually became one of the friends of the farm. I joined up with those folks, so it's been a real journey. But here's another Jesse James site, and we'll keep visiting them. There's many sites close to here. I really want to make it down to Gadd's Hill eventually, and I'm sure that I probably will, but fall is rolling in. It's kind of pretty overcast pretty overcast today. We don't have any sunlight, and it's a little bit cold here. It's 56 degrees, so it kind of cooled off with fall coming in. We're almost in November here. But thanks again for riding along with me on this adventure, and I'll see you all on the dusty trail. Have a good one. So just continuing my tour, I was on my way back from Winston checking out the Jesse James robbery site in Winston, the train station. I thought I'd stop here on the way back north in Gallatin and see another site and some historical markers related to Jesse James. So let's take a look around. And here is an artillery piece in front of the courthouse, and apparently this is where the trial for, from what I read, Frank James was also tried here in Daviess County. But we're going to take a look at a historical marker here and try to get the story about all of that. And it looks like there's a big Halloween thing going on right across the way here. And here is the marker. It says, I'll read it to you. It says, this Grand River town platted in 1837 as the seat of Daviess County is named in the honor of Albert Gallatin, Secretary of Treasury in 1801. 18 to 13 settlers in the area. As early as 1830 and 1836, the county was formed. Adam Ande Aman, 5 miles northwest, was settled by the Mormons on the direction of the prophet Joseph Smith in 1838. The name is said to mean Adam's consecrated land, for here, according to Smith, Adam blessed all the patriarchs before his death. At this place is also known as Adam's grave. Smith announced the discovery of the altar on a nearby hill where he said the ancients worshipped. Hostilities broke out between the Mormons and the anti-Mormons, and a sharp skirmish took place in Gallatin in 1839 when the Mormons were expelled from Missouri. Adam Aman was abandoned, established in Gallatin, where the Daviess County Female Academy chartered in 1849. And Daviess County Academy and Masonic Hall chartered in 1855. In 1893, Grand River College was moved here from Edinburgh and Grundy County. And this is the flip side of the monument, and it says Gallatin settled on land ceded the U.S. by the Osage Indians in 1808 and by the Sauk and Fox and Iowa tribes. 1824 served as a fertile agricultural area of the Green Hills region of North Missouri. Nearby is Grand River, called by the Indians Neshama Hanja, and by early French writers Riviere Grande. This chief river was north of the Missouri, has eroded a rock-walled valley paralleling the valley a few miles to the east, which before the glacial age carried the waters of the north, now in the Missouri River to the south. Gallatin was the scene of the trial, and here it is, Gallatin was the scene of the trial of Frank James, elder brother to Jesse, after he voluntarily surrendered to Governor Thomas Crittenden on charges of participating in a holdup of a train near Winston to the southwest. The trial, 1882, highlighted by the appearance of Confederate General Joseph O. Shelby as a defense witness, ended in acquittal for Frank. Here lived A.M. Dockery, governor of Missouri, 1901-1905, and Joshua W. Alexander, Secretary of Commerce of the U.S., 1919 to 1921. Fascinating stuff. I'm glad I stopped here to check it out, and here is the grandeur of the courthouse. Again, there's a big Halloween celebration going on there. Looks like trunk or treat, so that's cool. But real piece of history in the southwestern Missouri town.